I have always loved Halloween. I used to do makeup for a haunted house. Always been into blood and gore. Meshing those two, makeup and cake, I love it. My name's Sarah Ono Jones, and I'm a creepy cake artist. Shock value. Like, if somebody cannot believe it's cake, like, that's what I want. People either love it or they hate it. I don't make cakes to look appetizing. A lot of people assume that if you make a cake, it has to look appetizing, but I want it to scare you. A cake comes to life after you start painting it. Of course, sculpting is a major element of the cake, but it really changes its form when you go from a blank slate, like that's all white, to full-on color. It's not just cake, it's art, and it takes a long time to sculpt things, to plan things out, and to make sure that it's not going to fall apart. That takes a lot of planning and experience in order to pull that off. A lot of the cakes that I make are statuesque and beautiful. A lot of people don't believe that there's real cake inside, but there is cake inside. They are meant to be consumed, even though it might not be like something that you would think would be inside of the shoulder or this head. There's going to be cake in there. I've always been interested in art ever since I was little. I love playing with Play-Doh, and my dad actually got me lessons, private lessons with a sculptor. And so I started that journey with clay and ceramics, and after that I kind of morphed into sugar. I am a veteran. I was in the Army for 2 years, and actually my husband got me a cake decorating class for Mother's Day. I was a super young mom, and I had kids at home, and I didn't have a job, and I just needed a hobby, and my husband said, here, cake decorating classes. So that's how it all started. When I got into the class, I thought, how can I shake this up? So I started thinking, I wonder if I could sculpt a skull. I wonder if I could make a zombie, and so I just did it. I'm actually not a baker. I've never been to culinary school or anything like that, so I'm only an artist. On and off with prep time and everything, you're looking at about like maybe 8 to 10 hours for a sculpted cake. It could get pretty intense. A cake could look really boring until you start hitting it with details, and I'm very much a stickler on details. I take more time than I probably should, making sure that the details are there, because I think that's what makes a cake stand out from the rest. I love the anatomical heart cake because it has these veins and arteries, and the muscle tissue, like the definition in the muscle tissue always gets people. And then seeing those arteries chopped open and you could look inside, it's really gross. I love sculpting witches because they have these really cool noses that have a lot of character. The chin protrudes, there's lots of wrinkles, and sometimes you could make them have wonky eyes, and they're just really cool characters to sculpt. With this witch, I used a lot of textures for the wrinkles, and really when you put airbrush colors in there to get inside those wrinkles and the facial features, that's what really makes a character pop, is when you start to bring out all those spooky characteristics. Earlier this year, I sculpted a gorilla with grass all around him and dirt. It was really fun to sculpt because it was for a customer that really liked gorillas, and just kind of having him in his natural habitat, painting his eyes and the fur, it just really brought it all together. One of my favorite cakes is the Zombie Bride. She is a character from a haunt that I used to work at, and I just love her because she's beautiful and haunting and creepy at the same time. Zombie Miss Piggy is kind of deceiving because you can't really tell that she has a frog leg hanging out of her mouth until you look closer. There was a couple a few years ago that got married, and they wanted a zombie bride and groom severed head on their cake, but they wanted the cake to be very beautiful. So I had to make this gorgeous white ruffly cake and then put 2 zombie heads on it with blood dripping down, and that's by far my favorite wedding cake that I've ever done. In the future, I would love to have a giant cake team here in Houston and, you know, just make the most amazing, awesome 3D sculpted cakes that will blow everybody's mind.